Afternoon YouTube. Now today in the workshop I'm going to have a look at this Pioneer SX750 that my missus got for me. Now I know this Pioneer has jumped the repair queue because I should really be looking at the Sharp Optonica today, because that was before this, and also them tangent acoustic speakers was in the fix-it queue before this Pioneer. But really the next video should have been the Optonica, and that is what I was going to do today. So I was up early, got the Optonica on the table, got the camera, started doing the video. Now I wanted to get the front and that off it and do more cleaning, because it is all full of fluff in the front bit. But then when I got to the tuning knob on it to take the tuning wheel off, it's got like a little grub screw buried down inside the knob that I think is an Allen key. And without undoing it, you cannot get the knob off and you cannot get the front off. So I had Allen keys with me in my little screwdriver set, but they are not long enough to go down to where the grub screw is. So I needed some long Allen keys. And I know I have got a set, so I went to get them, but I just couldn't find them. And I can remember the last time I had them, because I do buy and repair now and again vintage Tamiya radio controlled cars, and I had them last time I was doing one of them, which would have been a few months back. So I hunted everywhere for them, but I just couldn't find them, and in the end I just gave up. So the Optonica is on hold until I either find my Allen keys or just buy a new set. So as I was in receiver repair mode, I thought, oh, what shall I do then? I thought, oh, should I do them tangent speakers? And then I thought, no, let's do the Pioneer. So here we go. Today I'm going to look at this vintage Pioneer SX750 receiver. So this Pioneer, it is only working on one channel, and apparently all the pots on it are really crackly when you move them, and only a couple of the bulbs are working on the front of it. So it could have a load of blown bulbs in it, this Pioneer. But I'm not too worried about the bulbs today. I'm more interested in trying to find out why this receiver is only working on one channel. So I'm going to open it up today and give it a good going over. Have a right good look at it, see what all the capacitors and that look like. Make sure nothing is blown in there, because it could have blown parts on the boards, or it could have blown capacitors which are making it only work on one channel. So if I find anything like that, I'm going to have to order some parts for it. So I'm just taking the screws out of this side. So 2 screws this side, 2 screws the other side, and then the lid should come off. And there's always the chance that there is not a lot wrong with this Pioneer, because if the pots are really, really dirty, that can make a channel drop out. So it could be as something as simple as that. So I should give this a good check over today and just see if I can find anything wrong with it, and see if anything looks blown in it or burnt out. And also, before I power this up, I just want to check it inside and make sure it looks safe to power up, and make sure it isn't full of that horrible sticky fluff and goo that gets in these receivers. Because although this Pioneer looks lovely and clean on the outside, it does not mean it is lovely and clean on the inside. So the moment of truth, what is it like inside? Let's pop the lid off and see what we're dealing with. Cool, and that's lovely and clean inside there. And I'm just showing you the lid just so you can see how it's put together. So it's got little wooden blocks glued in the corners, and that plate is screwed in at the back. But just look at that Pioneer inside. That is clean as a whistle in there. So someone has been in there doing a bit of cleaning, because there is no way this would be like that in there. Even if this one come from the cleanest house in the world, it would still have some dirt in there, because it is old, this Pioneer, but that is clean as anything in there, so someone has been in there cleaning and changing the bulbs, because look at that, this has got orange bulbs in it, and this Pioneer would not have had them in it, this would have had clear bulbs. So someone has put orange bulbs in this Pioneer. But I'm having a look round it, and I can't see nothing looks like blown. The capacitors are all looking nice in it. Everything looks really clean and nice in here. It really does. I can't see any corrosion or anything in there. It looks spanking inside this Pioneer. It really does. So it seems a bit strange that someone has gone to the effort of really cleaning this Pioneer out inside. They have fitted new orange bulbs in it, but then they haven't done the pots with dioxin. Because surely, if you know the pots are really crackly and you've gone to all this effort, you would have tried to sort the pots out as well. And it also seems a bit strange how this Pioneer has got two missing knobs off of the front. Because if you've looked after this well, and look at it, this one has been looked after. So if you look after your receiver this well, you don't suddenly just lose two knobs off of the front of it. So they have been pulled off of this one on purpose. So either the person had another receiver with two knobs missing and he nicked them off of this one, or he knew someone who needed two knobs for their receiver, so he sold the two knobs off of this one before he sold the receiver, because I just don't believe that they fell off and got lost. And even if they did come off and get lost, when the person was going to the effort of buying new bulbs and that for this receiver, wouldn't you have bought a couple of knobs for it? Even if they was not the correct ones, you would have bought a couple of knobs to have put back on it. So after a good examination of the insides of this Pioneer, I really cannot see anything looking black or a little bit burnt out. I cannot see any capacitors that look like they are bulging or they have blown. So it looks really good in here. I cannot see anything wrong with this Pioneer. There is no fuses in this top part to check. All the fuses are in the underneath of this one. So you need to turn it over and take the plate off of the underneath. So I shall do that next, because in the top here I really cannot see anything that looks blown or damaged in this Pioneer. It all looks really good. So let me put the camera back on the tripod, and then I shall turn this Pioneer over and we'll take the plate off the underneath, check the fuses and see what it is like under there. And I have just bought two more receivers that will need repairing on the channel. I've just bought a little Sony STR from 1969, and I've also bought a little Kenwood. So both of them will be joining the queue of stuff that needs fixing, because both of them do need repairing. So I'll just lay this Pioneer down on its back, and then we shall whip this plate off the bottom and get into the bottom part, because there's quite a lot of bits under this plate. The fuses are under here, There's more boards, and there is actually quite a lot going on the underside of this Pioneer. But hopefully, when I remove this plate, all the parts on this underside will be in as nice condition as all the bits were on the other side. Because in that top part of the amplifier, everything looked really good on this, so I hope it looks as good under here. So just take a couple more screws out and then we shall find out what condition this Pioneer is underneath. Right, so that should come up. No, I've missed two. Right, there's two more screws in the middle that I didn't take out. Let me just take them out and then this plate should come off. Is that going to come off? Yeah, there we go. That's it, moving now. So it just slides back a bit and then comes off. There you go. And that does look as clean and as nice in there as it did on the other side. Again, I would say someone has been in there cleaning this out. So I'll get the camera again and I'll get you in there and we'll have a look at the underside of this Pioneer. And as you can see, look, that is really clean in there. So I would say, just as they have been in the top cleaning it, someone has been in this bottom part as well and cleaning this one out. Because there is just no dirt or anything in here. It is spanking. So it must have been cleaned out. Because it is really old, this Pioneer. So although the bottom does normally stay quite clean, you normally find some fluff and that in them, but looking here there is nothing. Someone has definitely been right through this Pioneer giving it a good clean. But again, just like inside the top, I cannot see anything that looks like it has burnt out or gone a little bit black. All the boards look in really nice condition. I can't see anywhere where they look like they might be cracked or anything like that. It all looks really good. There is no corrosion in it or anything. In fact, it looks like brand new under here. It really does. It really is in good condition for an old receiver. And as you can see there, it's got 4 fuses on that board there, and it's got one over this side. So I think it's just got 5 fuses in here. And they do all look good. None of them look black like they have blown. I will give them a little test just in case, but them fuses do look good. So far, I am not seeing anything that looks like it could cause this receiver to lose a channel. I'm not seeing anything like that. Everything looks really good. So it could be that the pots are really dirty, causing it to drop a channel, or there could be something wrong with it that you just can't see by looking at it, because a capacitor or something could have gone down. They don't always blow and bulge. They could have just gone dead, or a little transistor could have gone dead, and you can't always spot it. Normally you can. Normally there is white marks or black marks and a bit of a telltale sign if something has gone wrong, but I can't see anything like that inside this Pioneer. So I've just got my tester and I shall take out the fuses and test through them. So that's the first one out. Yeah, the needle's gone up. That one is good, so I'll just pop that back in. I will give them a little clean first and give the carrier a little clean with a little bit of deoxin. I'll just spray a little bit on my brush and then clean the fuse and clean the carrier. And it's more the carrier that needs cleaning, because these fuses, they look like they're quite new. I would not say these are the original fuses in it, they just look too new for that. So I'll just pop out the second fuse and we'll see what that one's like. And I do think all these fuses are going to be good, because I do think someone has changed all the fuses in this and put new ones in it. So I'll just clean out the little carrier and then we put a test across the fuse. The needle goes up, it's right, it's not good, that one. Right, although that fuse looks new, it is no good. I'm having to put a lot of pressure on my fingers. If I squeeze the fuse together really hard, it makes a connection. So it is no good, that fuse. And look at that, it does not look blown, that looks like a good fuse. But that is not a good fuse, that fuse has a problem with it. Oh, so that's good then. That is one fault found. So that is something that could be causing problems with this receiver. So I'll have another one of them fuses somewhere, so I shall pop a new one back in it. So I'll just try the other 3 fuses just in case they are no good as well. No problem with that fuse. Give the carrier a little clean and I'll pop the fuse back in. So let's take this one out. I'll pop that one back in. Take this end one out and we'll test this one and see if this one's good or not. Yeah, see that one, it just goes up and stays up, whereas that other one I had to like really squeeze it together to get it to register anything. So there was definitely something wrong with that fuse. So let's pop that one back in, take out this last one. Put the tester on it. Yeah, see that one's just shot up there. There is nothing wrong with that one. That is a good fuse. So just give it a little clean with my brush. It's got a bit of dioxin on it. Give the carrier a clean. And it is screwed in, that carrier. I'm just going to get my screwdriver and make sure it is in there nice and tight. Yeah, that's in there okay. Right, so pop that fuse back in. And so 4 fuses were good, 1 fuse was bad. And I'll have another little one of them fuses over here in my little set of drawers. I'll just get one quickly. Right, so I did have one of them fuses. Just give it a quick little test, make sure it's good. Yeah, that's good, needle shot up. So give it a little clean, the carrier, and then put this fuse back in, and then I know all the fuses are good in this thing. And that fuse that was no good, that could have been a brand new fuse, because I have had that before, where I bought a little packet of really cheap fuses, and then when I got them, a couple of them didn't work. So be careful buying them really cheap fuses. So I'm just going to take that one back out, because I put it in there but the carrier is a little bit loose and I forgot to nip this one up. So I'm just going to tighten the carrier prongs up a bit, just squeeze them together and then put the fuse back in. Right, so that is it. All 5 fuses are back in this receiver and I know that all 5 fuses are working. So next I'm going to start running through this Pioneer with some deoxit. Clean the switches and all the pots. And there's some connectors on the board that you do with one of these Pioneers. They're these ones here. Can you see that? Look, that connector is not even on there. That is hanging off. And just look how black them pins are. That is as if that has been hanging off for ages and air has got to them pins and made them go black. It might not have been. That could have been like jiggled loose when my missus collected it and carried it home in the car. Or there's always the possibility that that has been hanging off for ages. That is a question we will never know the answer to. So looking at that second one, that is also a little bit black. It's not as bad as the first one, but them pins are quite black. So we look at this third one. Now that one's not too bad. So we look at the last one. Just move the wires out of the way so I can see it. And again, that is a little bit black. None of them are as bad as that first one, but they all are a little bit black, and they should be nice and silver, making a good connection. Where they are black like that, they are not making a good connection, none of them. So all of them pins really do need a good clean with deoxit. Get them all back nice and silver and get them all making a nice connection. And where that one was hanging off on the end, if that has been like that for a while, then there is a problem right there. But obviously that could have come loose when it was being carried home in the car, or that could have been off for ages. You will never know. Personally, I think that has been off for ages, because they do hold on quite well, these connectors, but there is that little chance that it happened in the car, because the suspension on my missus's car is rock hard, so there is always a little chance that it got bounced about in there, and that is when it come loose. But obviously, now that I've found that connector hanging off, that really could be the problem with this old Pioneer. And the fact that them pins are really black, that could be causing problems with it as well. So I think now I'm going to have to clean all these pins, take all the front off and get into all the pots and the switches and give them a good clean with deoxit, and then put this one back together and try it, because there is always the chance now that I have fixed the problem, because that dodgy fuse in it, that could have been the problem. This connector hanging off, that could have been the problem. The fact that all these pins are black as anything, that could be the problem. So there's three things there that could have caused this receiver to only be working on one channel. So it is worth trying it now before I go any further. But obviously I do still want to do all the pots and switches with deoxit, because the seller did say that they was all really crackly. And the fact that they are all really dirty could still be the problem with this old receiver. So I've just got the camera and I'll get you in there and show you how nice all them pins look now. They've all cleaned up nicely. That's what deoxit does. It just removes all that black stuff off of them and gets them nice and silver again. So all of them have come up really nice and clean. So if you do one of these SX50 series yourself, remember to do this bit and do these pins with deoxit as well as the pots and the switches, because it will be worth doing. Where they was black, that would not have been making good connections. So all I'm doing now is I'm just standing these connectors up, just twist them a little bit so they are all pointing up in the air, and then I should just squirt a little bit of deoxin down into them just to clean the other parts, because if the pins are black, then the little bits that go over the pins inside these connectors, they will be black as well. So I'm just going to do them with a tiny little bit of deoxin. Just get my little can and try and give them a tiny little squirt down each of them, just to make sure they go nice and clean. Because if they are still really dirty, it won't make a good connection. Even though I've cleaned the pins, if these bits are still black, it will still be making a bad connection. So that's it. I only want a tiny little bit, and then I should get my brush and wipe off any excess and just use that excess on the pins. Give the pins another going over rather than waste it, because it's expensive deoxin. So if you get any anywhere, mop it up with a brush and use it somewhere. So that's it. The pins are nice and clean, the connectors are nice and clean. So that lot can be all put back together and then just left for a while for the deoxit to dry right out. Because remember, deoxit is like a liquid. So if it has not dried out and you plug your amplifier in, you can create problems. So always be a bit patient after you have used deoxit. So I'm just going to put these connectors back on now that they are all nice and clean. And hopefully that might have fixed one of the problems with this old Pioneer. It might not be the only problem. The pots and that might still be causing problems with it. So next I need to clean all them out. And it's not that straightforward to do that on this old Pioneer, because you have to take all the front off and some of the plates off and get right in there to get to the switches. I think you could just do the pots and like the selector with it like this without taking all the front off. You can get into them from the back. I think it would be a bit fiddly to get to some of them, but I do think you would be able to do it. But as I want to get to the switches, you can't get to the switches from the back, so you've got to take the whole front off. And as I am taking the whole front off, I find it easier to do the pots as well once the front is all off. Now there could possibly be a way of getting into the switches and doing them without taking it all apart. Other people might do it different to me, but this is the way I've always done it on these old Pioneers. So that is the way I'm going to do it, and it does take a bit of time. So that will be the next video to go on the channel, where I am deoxing right through this Pioneer. So I'm going to go and do myself a bit of lunch now, and then I will come back and do that video a bit later this afternoon. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.